When I was a student, I was bright enough to make good grades even as I loathed and despised school. The majority of my teachers were nothing more than lecturers, test givers, and people who noted on my report cards that I, quote, talked too much and had, quote, messy handwriting. Because science and math in particular seemed nothing more than a blur of formulas that I was supposed to accept without question, I completely lost interest in those subjects. I was only able to excel in language arts because I already had such an intense interest in the subject, perhaps because it appeared to be the only core subject with any iota of creativity. The exception to my perception of education came when I entered Montessori school in the 9th grade. In Montessori school, questions were emphasized at least as much as facts, and a student's learning was enhanced, not handicapped, by their particular learning style. If one student was more visual than another, then they could formulate a poster for a concept while a verbal student might give a speech about that same concept. Instead of being intimidatingly rigid with stick-straight rows of desks facing the teacher, my Montessori classroom had beanbags laying about the room. When we did sit at desks, we sat in a circle, de-emphasizing the teacher-student hierarchy. In gym, we went for nature walks and talked about what we saw. We even did internships in schools for the disabled. It is this last aspect, the internship, that was perhaps the most important thing for me. At the time, I felt intimidated at being a 14-year-old girl surrounded by certified adult teachers of the handicapped, as well as the handicapped students themselves. I couldn't figure out what I could possibly contribute to such an environment. After all, I was a child. My public school experiences had taught me that my job was to sit quietly at my desk and simply listen to my teacher's lectures. But as my 2 weeks at the Metro School passed, I realized that I was learning how to negotiate the hectic world around me, how to intuit what the students needed, and I was learning all this because in Montessori school, a 14-year-old is treated as a capable human being rather than a child to be controlled, so that they can become, quote, self-directed self-starters. I say self-directed self-starters because the founders of Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, stated that this is what Montessori school helped them to become. And this is why I believe that one of the most important things a teacher can give her students is the gift of responsibility, the conviction that his or her students know the best way for their own learning, from the way they take notes to the way they build projects and write essays. Students are trusted to converse with their peers and not simply lectured to. Students are not given free rein, but in the Montessori tradition, they are observed and guided by teachers for optimal learning for all students, from linguistic to visual learners, from students with ADD to those with multicultural backgrounds. This is true learning.